Well, hello everyone and welcome to my review of Zombicide Black Plague. So let's get started, shall we? So we start off with the rulebook like normal. We have a nice little index right here, some game components right here, more game components on the other side. Gives you what's supposed to be in the box, and then we start moving on to a bit more of the setup and how things are actually explained, like these inserts of information. It's right here as well. This is all about the zones. Got more inserts of information, which I really like. It kind of gives you a easier understanding of how the game works and which bits are actually used for, which I think is actually a really good idea. So we have the reading of the equipment cards, which yet again tells you how to read it, and yet again more inserts of information, which I think is really good. Well, I know there's quite a few games with the instruction manuals that actually have inserts, but probably not as much and detailed of these, which yet again I think is great. Just a few more bits and pieces here. Then we actually come to like the main part on how to play the game. You have the player's phase, which each of them can do, well, whatever really, and each one kind of just requires an action to use. So moving is an action. Let's say all the survivors, which are the players, they start off with 3 action points. So you could use a move, search, attempt to open a door. It says open a door, but it's more like an attempt. Anyway, reorganize and trade. Each of these is just 1 action point. Combat, which gives you a melee, range, and magic action. I consider as much range and magic kind of fits into the same category. I have enchantment, which again kind of goes into a magic kind of thing. Anyway, I have a take or activate an objective, make some noise and do nothing. Yes, you can actually do absolutely nothing, but that's really it. It's very straightforward for the survivors. And then we have the zombie phase, which most of the zombies only have 1 action point anyway, and most of the time it's move or attack. That's it. There's the attack, and here's how they move. It's very important when reading about the move, because zombies can only either move to the noisiest zone or survivors that they can see that are the most noisiest. We have some runners, very important because they have 2 action points. Spawning, just to get the zombies onto the board. It literally, all of this is literally very straightforward. There's only a few small bits and pieces of big information here, but they have the inserts, which are absolutely great. The necromancers can be quite annoying. So you draw the necromancer card. There's only 1 necromancer in the game, but you can actually get more by the expansions. I had to try and understand the necromancers a bit, so yeah, that's probably the only kind of problem when it comes down to the necromancer. There's a few things that didn't quite make sense. Thankfully there are quite a few people that has played the game, and it's all on YouTube, you can watch on, so that's all good right there. The necromancers, when it comes down to it, I kind of understood it, but I wanted to make sure, so I watched a lot of things, the FAQs, all of that, they're there. So necromancers are the most different type of zombie, as it were. All the enemies just a class of zombies. Rules about more necromancers added to your game, and here's the part about more combat. What you do, it's really straightforward. Seriously, the only bit you might have to read about once, twice or 3 times is the necromancers, just to be sure. You might be able to understand it straight away. I was able to understand it, and I'll play a lot of games anyway. And more rules for playing with 7+ survivors. That's right, it's in this main rule book, which is great. And it tells you about the expansions of where to get the hero dashboards as well. So you have the main big expansion, a hero box right there that comes with 2 of the hero dashboards. You need the dashboards, and then the rest are quests, which there are 11. That's including quest number 0. All of them are slightly different. I kind of wish that they were a little bit more different than what it is. It's all about collect objectives, and collect objectives, then escape, or if you manage to do the main objective, which is more than likely collect objectives, which are these little X's around here, then yeah, that's about it. Sometimes the failure of the quest is that all survivors must survive. They're the annoying ones. The worst that I've ever played is quest number 4, which is famine. I hated that one so much. You got to find the 6 food cards in here. If you do ever play this one, I would suggest don't use any of the expansion loot cards. Loot cards? Well, item cards. That's what they're called. Yeah, equipment cards then. Let's call them equipment cards because that's apparently what they're called. So the shorter, the better it is. Literally, you just get all of that in this box. Anyway, right at the very end is explanations of the survivor's skills, which is always a good idea to read. And you have the little box at the end. The back part, you know, just so it's like a guideline. Boom, job done. I really do like this instruction book. Nice job. So we have 4 different types of cards. We have the starting equipment cards, which there are 6 in this game. In some ways I wish there was more varieties because there's only 1 bow and, well, you can't really see that, 1 bow and 1 magic scroll. So that's kind of unfortunate. You have 1 hammer, 3 swords. So most of them are all close combaters. So if you have like 2 archers, you're not gonna have all that much fun. Or if you have like 2 mages, yet again, you're not gonna have much fun. I would suggest perhaps getting some of the expansions, which actually come with more of these starting cards. But then again, you do start with 6 survivors anyway, and one of them is more of an archer and one of them is more of a wizard, and the rest are close combaters, really. So it's fine, it's fine. And then we have some of these, which are the zombie cards. These are what you turn over when you spawn some zombies. So, here's me knocking the camera. We have 3 different colours: blue, yellow, orange and red. This is all about the, well, one of the survivors' levels. So when they go up another level, their colour changes, and then that's what you kind of would spawn. All different types, you could get all different types of zombies, including the dreaded Abomination, the Horrid Necromancer, which there's 6 cards of these. What I like to do is when I draw a Necromancer, I put it into the discard pile and put the Necromancer on. If I draw another Necromancer card, let's just say that is the discard pile, there you go, I've just drawn a Necromancer. When I draw another Necromancer card, I leave it to one side so I know the Necromancer has an extra action, and I just leave them there until I need to reshuffle. Then I've got to try and remember. However, that should be fine because I tend to kill them anyway quite quickly. Anyway, double spawns are annoying. Yeah, you could get all different types. So I think these kind of the cards are the worst, because when it comes down to blue, there's the dreaded Abomination, which could come out straight away. I tend to draw those kind of cards very early. I'm pretty sure there's only 2 of them in the entire deck. I have no idea why I keep drawing them early. It's like either turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 or turn 4, literally. More so with turn 3 and 4. I should really just take them out of the deck and then just start laughing. Anyway, we'll have the items here, which could lead to some armour, so you can actually save against zombies' bites. Great sword, so you can do more attacks. It's got 5 dice that you roll, 5 plus a hit on 1d6. It's great. R, which is a zombie, yeah, that's exactly what we want. Torch and Dragon Bile, something to actually kill the Abomination or a huge horde of zombies. Yeah, what happens is they use this Dragon Bile, which you put a token onto a zone, and then you use a torch and it kills everything, including other survivors if they're on it. Scrolls, some arrows, a shield, and a water. This is what I'm talking about when it comes down to the food. You get something like that. Yeah, there are a lot more cards. I'm just showing you just a few. However, you do only start with 6 of the starter survivor cards. But yeah, you do get a lot more of these zombie cards and item cards. However, you do start with only 2 vault cards, which are these. These are the more so-called powerful cards. It is kind of a shame that you only get 2 only. Sometimes you'll have to shuffle a vault deck, but only if you have more vault cards. If you don't, then there's no vault deck to shuffle. So yeah, it's kind of a shame that you only get 2, but that's all you really need, just 2. There's just more as a variety, of course. So anyway, that's all the main cards. You start off with the game with 6 survivors. These are what they are. I've got Clovis, Baldric, Samson, Nelly, Anne, and Silas. So Baldric, this one right here, is more of a wizard kind of player, and Silas is more of an archer type player. However, you can actually just mix and match. You do, like for example, you don't actually have to give Silas the bow. You could give it to Samson instead. But it's all about what they do with their abilities. So for example, Baldric has the first ability, which is a spellcaster. In the orange, you could get a free magic attack or spell book. In the red is +1 die in magic or a free combat action. The last one is a +1 dice roll to melee. Yeah, who knows. So you'd automatically think you should give him the magic, which obviously makes sense. Whilst Clovis, we'll look at Clovis, starts out with a +1 die in melee, or in the yellow, every single survivor always gets the extra 1 action. So as soon as you hit it, that's an extra action. So 4 actions. It does make a huge difference. Anyway, orange is a free melee attack action or sword master. There's in the red, it comes to combat, +1 free combat action, +1 dice roll in combat or hit and run. So immediately you think he's more of a, well, a warrior type, and he shouldn't really have a magic scroll. He should actually go with a sword. So when it comes down to setting up, you always have these awesome looking dashboards. Let's get these out of the way, and let's just put Clovis right here. So this is going to be Clovis. If we just move these out of the way, that's the minis for them, apart from Clovis right here. We start to put the setup of the dashboard. Wow, that really went badly. I've just decided to pick a random colour. This is yellow. So we're putting all the pegs in here, just like that. All of them, so that's all filled. That's the health. This is the experience. So we know he's going to be in blue. And we put a coloured base, well, underneath his base, which easily slots in, by the way. I like that. And we give him a starting equipment. I think giving him a hammer is great. Right then, so that's him set up. When he gains the next level, which is right here in yellow, if I'm zooming in the camera, that's zoom out, zoom into the camera, to do that. So as you can see, all of that is in blue, so that's all first level. Every single zombie you kill, you will gain experience by moving this forward. If I just do that, there you go, that's one zombie dead, that's another zombie dead. Alt just killed 3, there's more. There you go, up to 6. As soon as you hit the yellow, you take out one of these pegs and put it into the yellow slot, and drop Clovis as well. Now, as soon as you hit to the orange, you don't get to put them in both in there. You pick one. So let's just say this one right here, which is +1 free combat melee. I like that. And as soon as you hit into the red, which is all the way down to here, you get to pick one of these. So all it is choices for yourself. And yeah, that's if I knew how to zoom in and zoom out properly on this camera. Right, so these two slots are your hand, so you can actually have the hammer in the other hand if you want. Means nothing. That's what they're just going to be using or carrying at the moment, having equipped. Whilst these here is your backpack area. So if you have a weapon in there, well, it's not equipped, it needs to be in your hand. This right here, if you ignore that shield for a moment, this is your body area, so you'd equip armor in there. However, each of these characters can have different kind of items instead of carrying them in their backpack, so they'll be actually equipped. So with Clovis right here, he can have a shield equipped, which means instead of having a shield in his hand, he can put it in his body slot and have another weapon in his other hand if he wants to. So a hammer gives him an extra attack, shield in the body slot, and you're laughing. Whilst Baldric, again, he can hold a sword for his body slot, so he can have a magic there, let's just say lightning bolt, and perhaps another lightning bolt. If you have two of the same items, you can have an extra attack whilst you're using them. That's how it goes anyway. Or just in case, you can use a sword. Now, why would you want to use a sword instead of magic? There's some rules where it's like, if you use the magic or range, you can actually hit your own survivors, but you can't hit yourself. That's why each of them are always a little different. There you go. You can hold a dagger, for example. So I do actually like this. This is really good. I love these dashboards. I think they're really, really great. I love them. And all of these little base things that you put on their bases, just so you can actually see on the board. It's great. I just want to talk about these boards for a few minutes or so. These are the boards that you'll be using. There's 9 of them. Most of the quests that will come into the book would be in between 4 to 6 most of the time. So you'd only really be using 4 to 6 of these, and they are numbered, which actually are double-sided, which I think is great. So you have 4V right there, or 4R. It tells you in the quests which ones you use and how to put them all together. I'm just going to show you something like this. At this moment we have a few zones here. Each zone is an action to move into, or something like that. So this right here, this big area, is actually one single zone, while this is one single zone. These is a zone, that is a zone, that is a zone. So moving a character from here to there would be 2 actions. So 1, 2. From moving a character from here to there is 1. So 1. And if there was a door right here and a door right here, and if they're both open, my survivor can either move to there or to there for another action. So it would be 1, 2. Instead of here, it would be like 1, 2, 3, just for example. And again, this is one zone, that's one zone. In the back, it's all single zones. Yeah, practically all of these, like outside areas, as it were, these are the buildings, are just single zones. So here we have a nice little zone right here, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are also 2 zones here. This is one zone. It's all in the book. It's actually quite clear of what they are and all of that. So this huge one here, single zone. That's very nice. It shows you where to place the doors, and yeah, in fact most of the time it's quite nice to put together. In fact, there we go, it's 1, 2, 3. That's a single movement right there. So it's really easy. I wasn't too sure about how it worked through looking at it at first, but the rulebook seriously is quite easy. We lastly come off to the models themselves. You've actually seen like 6 of them, that's their survivors, but there's me knocking the camera. Now open this up, it's very quite simple, and they have the front, so you have the 6 survivors right here, and well, that's the abomination, scary thing. It's the necromancer and zombies here. And if I take this little plastic bit away, we have more zombies. And to me, it's like, it looks a little underwhelming, but as soon as you start playing and putting these on, oh my god, there's actually looks like there's a lot more zombies on the board than there are just here. I mean, I played this game quite a few times just to make sure that everything is going alright, and it's very easy to play, and there are a lot of zombies in here. The most types are these ones, which are the walkers. They're the most basic ones that you'd be fighting. They only have 1 action point. The scary ones are the runners, which have 2 actions. So they'd either like maybe attack twice perhaps, and then you have the other basic types, which are these ones right here, which are called the fatties. Fatties are harder to kill. They have 2, as it were, hit points. I'm just going to call them hit points because that could be a little bit more easier to understand. You can't hurt them by doing 1 hit point, 1 hit point, 1 hit point. That doesn't do anything. You've got to do the maximum amount to kill them outright, otherwise it will do absolutely nothing. So with this abomination, has 3 hit points. So the easiest way to try and kill them is to kill them with a dragon fire, which is the bile and the torch card that I've just shown you in the last video. So yeah, that's the difference between a zombie walker and an abomination. The models are pretty good as well. They're your typical average size models, so bigger than Descent, but about the same size as Games Workshop stuff. The 28mm. So yeah, seriously, just looking at all of this, looks like there isn't a lot of zombies, but there are a lot of zombies in this box. Sometimes I actually think there isn't enough. If only there was more. But yeah, there is actually a lot of models. And there you have it, that was Zombicide Black Plague. What do I think of this game? I think it's absolutely one of the best games that I've ever played. It's hilariously fun. It is a 1 to 6 players. So, however, you can actually make them up to 1 to 12 with 2 of the expansions, which of course I will go into at a later time and point. But now this is one of the best games literally I've ever played. It's absolutely fun. Of course there's just the one quest that I really hated, and that was the one I've already showed you. Anyway, how would I rate this game? I would probably make some noise by kicking stuff. Well, I have actually made noise with this by trying to, let's just say, open a door, which mainly it's a 4+ on a d6. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and I'm shouting at it like, really, you don't want to open a door? Anyway, enough about that. I'm going to have to give this one a solid 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, but this is absolutely one of the best fun games I have ever played. It is literally fun, hilariously fun. I just don't think you can go wrong with this. If it's not your kind of thing for not controlling monsters, in other words, if you want to be controlling monsters, you can't do this in this game. You're literally teaming up with everyone to fight the monsters themselves, which is all the zombies. But yeah, all of this box in the game just feels kind of overwhelming when it comes down to all those zombies, placing them onto the board. As soon as you start placing like a lot of those zombies onto the board, you're going to be laughing at how many zombies are actually on the board. And then you start realizing, like, I'm running out of zombies. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. Well, anyway, thank you very much. Until next time, that's it. Thank you. Bye.